One Punch Man 107, a powerful enemy. The smile hopefully says it all. I loved it. The chapter was predictable, but a great kind of predictable, because we all saw the things that were happening. There's nothing wrong with predictable if it makes sense. You know, it'd only be wrong if, like, because obviously if it makes sense, then predictable's fine. Let's just talk about the chapter. So, when I say it's predictable, I mean in terms of how the Tatsumaki versus Gyoro fight went. And because of how it starts, that whole Tatsumaki-Gyoro fight I thought was fantastic. Because it showed us exactly what we need to see of Tatsumaki. Tatsumaki is really the Hero Association's greatest weapon, bar Saitama possibly. Because Tatsumaki is there reliable. Like, you know, you can't rely on Blast. Saitama only arrives up late. But Tatsumaki, she shows up when she needs to, and she will fight, and she is powerful. And we see this very, very good, like, it's clear. And whilst I personally think Gyoro is probably the weakest of the executives because of what we saw with Garo, and when we've talked about other people like Gyoro versus Tatsumaki in the past, we're like, yes, Tatsumaki will body. She does, and it makes sense. And despite the fact, you know, Gyoro, like I said, is the weakest of the executives, she's still a dragon level. You know, that is still a threat to multiple cities. Cities in One Punch Man the size of countries, a threat to multiple countries, you know? That's how deadly Gyoro is. And Tatsumaki, like nothing, has just, like, who has gone rid of, like, when Gyoro was pressing down everything, the art in this chapter was incredible as always, but, like, you know, Tatsumaki bursting out, and she's like, that all you got? Oh my god, she looked fantastic. She looked great. I loved it. Speaking of girls who look great, the cover was great. Loved it. Absolutely adored it. Mizuki's my favourite girl. I've recently realised this. I've come to the conclusion, and I feel like that opening made me realise it. The cover page, I was like, yeah, she's top. And everything she did just showed how strong she was. Like, a flick of the finger, boom! Not only did she break through Gyoro's barrier, she tore off her arm as well, you know? Gyoro had to go to a new form to try and take on Tatsumaki, right? So she's like, here's my true form, here you go! And I was like, okay, this could be a good fight. And then I was straight away reminded, no, this is S-Class Rank 2, Tornado of Terror. And she just takes everything. And, like, I thought I loved the Tatsumaki panel where she's like, that all you got. But when she gets rained down on by 300 times gravity, and she's just like, what a lovely little massage. I love that panel. Like, she is, and this is what I'll give credit to her, like, it truly shows she's strong. Obviously, they've done it in the past. You know, like, the truly strong kind of had the simplistic look and at least humans, I'm trying to think any opponents, well, possibly Black Sperm. Let's see what goes on with Black Sperm. But just like Saitama, she has her serious moments and she has her simple moments. And they play off together even better because obviously, you know, her simple moments show how, like, this is nothing to her, but then her badass moments, like where she looks all serious and great, that looks fantastic too. And they all just elevate to show how powerful she really is. I genuinely just loved everything about Tatsumaki in this. Like, she was incredible. And then, of course, something I found interesting to note as well is, obviously, you know, even when Gyoro goes all out with everything, Tatsumaki does, like, this, like, when she attacks, like, the second time, she spins her around, is what I've noticed. Maybe that's because, like, I'm trying to figure out where hero names come from, really. That's what I like to try and see, like, if I can figure out where each one comes from. So maybe that's where Tatsumaki's name comes from, because her English name is Tornado of Terror. Maybe that's what she does, like, she spins people around, because I think I remember doing something similar to 100-Eyed Octopus as well. So that might be why she does the Tornado Terror, because, like, she twists people up and spins them around, and, like, that pile of mess that Gyoro was at the end was crazy. And then Gyoro was like, I have severely miscalculated this. And this could be interesting to see how it goes on with the story too, because of obviously everything that goes on in the Monster Association, because maybe it's going to be more on the, obviously we haven't seen all the executives, but maybe the Hero Association is going to body most of them. Like, it's going to be a very big wash. I mean, I doubt it, but maybe because that's the way they're setting this up, unless, obviously, like I said, we haven't seen the other executives. If they're all around Goketsu level or the Centipede level, then I was wrong to even think that from the beginning, because I just remember what Goketsu and all the Centipede were like, so yeah, ignore that. But, you know, Tatsumaki's me like, well, why are you hiding in that meat bag? I know you're the real, you'll show up soon enough. And so, it's implied that we're going to see Gyoro's human form a lot this soon, which I'm looking forward to seeing, because I also think it's going to really shake up the Monster Association because of how everything goes down. Like, obviously, like, how they're going to feel if their commander is actually a human. you know? Or if, like, you know, they, like, or they see the human side, like, you're not a true monster, and then that's going to cause even more chaos in the Monster Association, because maybe, like, monsters will start turning on each other because they want the throne of, like, you know, the Monster King, or, like, obviously, they don't know about Orochi, but Orochi was dead. And maybe that's where it's going to lead to. And, of course, speaking of Orochi, that's where it all went that we all predicted, was obviously, Gyogoro was going to lose, and he'd start calling for Orochi, so straight away was like, Orochi-sama, King Orochi, please help me, please! And then no one shows up. And then Tatsumaki makes the comment of, like, you know, oh, like, Gyogoro builds up Orochi, like, you know, I'm the commander, but Orochi's the boss, you know, like, the strongest monster, I can't even fathom his strength. And then Tatsumaki's like, I think he's abandoned you. And then Gyogoro says the line of, you know, oh, well, who could Orochi be fighting at this point? I was like, yeah, who could Orochi be fighting? And then I scrolled down the page, and I saw the boy, Saitama, just standing there, looking down. Was fantastic. Those next few pages were incredible for building up hype for Orochi's return. It really was, because, like, obviously you're like, Saitama's gonna fight Orochi, and as you're processing this information, as you go through the pages, Orochi, you just see the small, like, you see the fire from the bottom of the hole, and the dragons rise up, grabbing onto everything as the fire rises, and, like, it just did such a good job. I was so excited reading all of that, and then, the panel, which is generally one of the best bits, I mean, it's some of my favourite art I've seen in One Punch Man. It's just Saitama and Orochi looking at each other. Orochi bearing down, dragons everywhere, like the flame cloak fire spewing down him. His face just eyeing up Saitama, and Saitama just there in the corner. It's beautiful, it's gorgeous, it's one of the best bits of art, I think, of One Punch Man. And then we go to the next page, and then it's there, and then Saitama. The best touch about this whole, like, that page there, more than anything, is it's Saitama's eye. He's got a bag under his eye. He is done with today. He's annoyed. He doesn't get what's going on. As he makes clear, he's like, right, first there's a pair of streakers, there's a dog and a cat, and now there's something I actually can't explain. What are you doing underneath my house? And how does Orochi reply? Finally, someone who does not seem to be useless trash has appeared in front of me. And that's where it ends. That's where the chapter ends. It's incredibly hype. And here we go. How's it going to happen? I'm going to make this very clear now. Orochi's getting one-punched. I can't see any other way. Better explain why Orochi's getting one-punched and why there won't actually be a big fight between Saitama and Orochi. So because I know a lot of people thought that Goro would end up fighting Orochi again for the rematch, so Goro could take his title as the king of the monsters, the strongest monster around. However, I think they're doing something else. It's what they did in the last chapter, it's what they've done a lot of the time, where, first of all, any kind of opponent that has been built up like this gets one punched by Saitama. So any opponent, here's what happens in One Punch Man. Heroes show up, villains show up who are much more powerful and seem overwhelming. Examples include Kombu Infinity, Deep Sea King, Goketsu and Bakuzan, Elder Centipede. All these kind of monsters show up out of nowhere, and they are, like, overwhelming the heroes. No problem. Then Saitama shows up and he one-shots them. That's just how it all works. We got this with Orochi back in Manhole when he fought against Goro. We saw him as this big, terrifying threat, and that's what he's done. So it makes sense that Saitama would now start to go, would one-punch him when they meet up next time. However, you probably also, I will argue on the other side of it though, that yes, he did note about Saitama's strength, and generally people who have noted on Saitama's strength have normally given Saitama a bit of a fight or something. So, on that front, it's Carnage Kabuto, Boros and Suiryu. Now, ignoring Carnage Kabuto for a sec, Saitama's two real fights with Boros and Suiryu. However, the main difference between these two and Orochi is this. When Saitama fought Boros, he didn't like what Boros was doing, but he at least sympathised with him. The idea of, you know, feeling bored, not being challenged. So Saitama at least entertained him for a little bit, so he could have that challenge before he had to defeat him. His fight against Suiryu, which wasn't, like I said, these are both kind of not real fights because of what we learn afterwards. Where Suiryu was given an example of what it was to be a martial artist and what martial arts could teach him, and see if his goal could come from martial arts. He had something to do with each of them. He felt sympathy for Boros, and he wanted to learn from Suiryu. Orochi has done nothing like that for Saitama. Now, of course, there's time in the next few chapters, if they do go to this fight next, to show this kind of stuff. As, like I said, he did acknowledge Saitama's strength, he's noticed it, and only to me, and it sounds like I talk about the strong being drawn simply, but the truly strong acknowledge, like, they see Saitama and they go, you're pretty strong. And I know it's obviously, it's different gauges, because obviously, like, I think Tatsumaki's stronger than Suiryu, but Suiryu had enough experience maybe to go, yeah, you're strong, and I can tell this straight off the bat. And like, that's a great way to hype up someone as a powerful opponent. However, going back to the Carnage Kabuto stuff, Carnage Kabuto was an opponent who Saitama faced who recognised his strength, however had nothing to offer Saitama, because obviously it wasn't a challenge for him. So, if this fight goes anyway, it's going to go one of two ways. It's either going to go A, Carnage Kabuto, like, it's going to either go A, the Carnage Kabuto way, where he's going to throw, Orochi's going to throw everything he's got at Saitama, and Saitama is going to defeat him very nonchalantly. Or it's going to go the second way, where Saitama is just going to one-shot him. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I just can't see it happening everywhere. I can't see Saitama having a fight because it challenges everything they've set up with. They did it in the exact same style last time. They set up Rover as this big opposing threat. Saitama beat him last time with one punch. That's just how it's worked. I genuinely can't see it any other way. And this is kind of where I have to end it because there's nothing else to really talk about. Because it was a short chapter, but it was a fantastic chapter. I love this chapter so much. Any kind of hype moments like this where we get to see Saitama about to fight someone is great. Also, actually, this extra point on it as well. The way that Garo's growth has gone, right, is whatever Garo has faced, like, you know, Garo has grown, and we died, and basically, you know, Orochi, if Saitama got this big fight against Orochi, Garo is too close to that kind of level of power to warrant like two big Saitama fights, and it's not impossible, and trust me, I would not complain if Saitama had a fight against Orochi and then had a fight against Garo, because I'd see him taking both. He may as well take them both on at the same time, because there's not going to be an issue for him. But the way it goes, Saitama doesn't really get many big fights until like the end of like kind of a significant point of the story. So obviously Saitama vs Boros was like the end of the C-Class kind of story part, and you know, these one-off stories. Obviously, you know, the big growth for Suiryu there was like Saitama's kind of fight there, and now here as well, it should be like the end for Garo was kind of the next big fight we should see from Saitama. I don't think, like I said, I doubt Orochi will get some kind of a fight. I think it's going to be more Orochi's going to throw everything at him, the fire, the flames, the attacks, and Saitama's just going to bop him. But that's me in any case. I just think it's too much leaning towards Orochi, like, and Garo's big moments for kind of Orochi to take it, because like if the big fight against, if this actually turns into a big fight, because we've seen what Orochi can do, then Garo versus Saitama has just that much of a higher ground to reach whenever they get their final fight, so to measure up. Also, quickly as well, it's also the comparisons between Garo and Saitama, where obviously whatever Garo does, like he struggles with, Saitama beats with ease. We saw that very clearly last time with the sit, and of course if we see it this time here, where Saitama does it to remake that gap bigger between Saitama and Garo, because that is what Garo dreads more than anything, is the idea of like this hard-working villain which he has done. He's worked really hard throughout all this time. He's had to grow and like put in the effort, and then a hero shows up out of nowhere just to one-shot him. And like that's what he's scared of most. That's what he hated most as a child, and that's what he's going to hate about Saitama when they meet up. But yeah, that was my ramble on what that's like, I guess, an educated guess on what the Garo against the Saitama Orochi fight will go. I wouldn't be surprised, and like, the thing is, I can be wrong. I thought we wouldn't even see the Tatsumaki Goro fight next, we'll cut off to something else, but we didn't, and this is what we might end up seeing Saitama Orochi next time, because it might also get Saitama out of the picture. He's like, well, he might see it as like, well, this is clearly the biggest, toughest guy here, I'm just going to head off, and then that might get Saitama out of the picture, so it's more tense. And then whenever Saitama does appear again, maybe that's what might happen, I don't know. Rambling. I just really love this chapter. It was really funny. We finally got to see what Tatsumaki can do in a one-on-one fight, and my boy's about to fight the King of Monsters, and, well, fight is a strong word. But that is my opinion in any case, and I'd love to know what yours is. What do you think of this whole fight? Do you think it's going to go the way I think it is, where Saitama's going to one-shot it? Do you think we're going to see an actual kind of fight between the two? How do you think this is all going to go down? Do you want to see more balls soon? We're going to cut to another fight? Who knows? But thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked this review. It was half of it was me going about the review, and the other half was me just like spinning off some crap, so thank you for being patient at least. And yeah, like I said, I'd love to hear what you think of it. Give it a like if you like this review, subscribe, you know everything, you know, like, what confidence you have in that. Thank you and goodbye.